In 2021, Daniel lost his parents and he decided to make an investment in something that would not just make good financial sense, but would be a legacy for him, his wife Tiffany, and their family. They started looking for a vacation rental and eventually found one. But then the vacation rental moratorium came into place. With all the complex rules in place, it's hard to find properties that qualify under the various different criteria. So how did they go about finding their vacation rental? It's hard enough to navigate the rules and the various changes, let alone navigate the moratorium as well. In this video, I'll share their story. Stay to the end to find out if they managed to get a permit and start generating income, or they just ended up enjoying it for themselves. People often ask me how to go about finding a vacation rental and how to go about getting the actual permit itself, and then finding a vacation rental manager to actually manage the property for you. Even though I know the rules inside out and have a great team, there are always changes taking place that we need to be aware of. This is causing a lot of people to think it is now impossible to find a vacation rental in Sonoma County. But is it? My name is David Hargreaves, founder of Modern Living Sonoma, an avid blogger writing all about the Sonoma County vacation rental industry, among other things. I've helped dozens of people just like you find, purchase and establish a successful vacation rental. If you like this video, please do like it and subscribe to get future videos. But less about me, let's hear about the story of Daniel and Tiffany in their quest to find, purchase and launch a vacation rental. Before Daniel and Tiffany started looking at properties, they were very clear on their goals. Their purchase was always more than investment property. It was something that they wanted to enjoy for themselves and be a legacy for their family. Being clear about their goals made a huge difference to the focus for the search, because as well as finding a property that performed well from a financial perspective, they needed to find a home that they personally connected with. Tiffany grew up in Texas and always enjoyed the river, so their focus was very much on the Russian River from the start, and in particular, the area around Guerneville and Monte Rio. They initially started working with another realtor, but they got frustrated because rather than help educate them on all the vacation rental rules, she told Daniel and Tiffany that they'd need to do their own research. I mean, they were rightly concerned about making sure their property would qualify for a vacation rental permit. I mean, it's a very expensive mistake to make. They did start doing their own research, and I'm pleased to say they actually ended up on my blog, reading all about the vacation rentals on my website. They reached out and we had an initial conversation, and we started working together from that moment on. It was actually funny talking to Daniel afterwards, because he said that they learnt more in that first 20-minute phone call than they had in the previous months of searching. He said that my blogs were actually a lot more helpful than the Sonoma County website itself, which is nice. They turned out to be the best possible clients to work with. It was also helpful that they were very clear on their budget and their overall goals. It was clear that what they were looking for was definitely within their budget. And I can assure you that is not always the case. But it's important to be realistic. For example, if you're looking for a property with vineyard views and have less than $1 million, you're unlikely to find it. I mean, I hate to be bearer of bad news sometimes, but there's no point in us looking for something that really doesn't exist. Because we were looking in the Russian River area, there are a number of things it's important to consider when identifying properties that would be potentially vacation rentable. Firstly, the house must have correct underlying zoning. For example, any home that's got an R1 zoning will not qualify for a permit. And there are a lot of homes that have this zoning in the Russian River area, so it's important to avoid our R1, but it's not always easy. The second thing is, some areas of the Russian River have a cap on the number of vacation rentals allowed. So it's important to understand where those caps are and whether or not the limit on the number of vacation rentals in that particular area has been reached. The third thing to think about is any house that is zoned as a duplex can't be used as a vacation rental, even though we often think that those could make really great vacation rentals that people could use for themselves. The fourth thing is the house must have a qualifying septic system or be on city sewer. Understanding the type of septic system a property has and the extent to which it's been documented by the county is definitely one of the biggest things that trips people up when it comes to getting a vacation rental permit. And then the other thing to think about is that if there is a secondary structure or an ADU on the property, this cannot be used for the purpose of increasing the bedroom count of the property for the vacation rental permit. Tiffany and Daniel's house, the house that they eventually found, did have a secondary structure in place, but we knew from the outset that this would not increase the occupancy as far as the vacation rental permit is concerned. The other thing you need to think about is whether there's parking. Parking's an important consideration for getting a permit because a property must have off-street parking to qualify as a vacation rental moving forwards. Armed with all this information, we started our search. As Tiffany and Daniel looked at homes, they began to focus in on Forestville as an area. But the great thing about Forestville is that it's got easy access to beaches that are often not as crowded as some of the other beaches in the Russian River area. But it also has great access to wineries and is close to towns such as Sebastopol and Healdsburg, so you're almost getting the best of both worlds, water and wine. As we focused on Forestville, there was one house that we went to look at that Daniel and Tiffany seemed to really like. It did have a lot of the nice features, but there was something not quite right about it in my mind. And when I was talking to Daniel recently, he actually reminded me about that home and the fact that they really liked it, and they asked me what I thought. I remember pointing out the good things, but I also remember verbalizing what I was probably thinking at the time, which is like, this is a little weird. Apparently Daniel and Tiffany really valued that, and that I was totally honest about what I thought of it. The search wasn't all plain sailing though, because we were in the second half of 2021 when the market was just crazy. We put in a really strong offer for a home. It was 21% over the asking price of $555,000. However, this home got 20 offers and sold for 40% over asking the price. Off the back of that failed offer, Dan and I went to see a property between Thanksgiving and Christmas in the middle of the week. Tiffany had seen the property online and liked the look of it, but she didn't think Daniel would like it. The day we went, it was absolutely pouring with rain. The listing agent must have thought we were absolutely mad to go and see it on a day like that. There was no one on the roads, but when we got there, it felt like it was like a misty wonderland with the big redwood trees shrouded in rain. Daniel took a video which he then shared with Tiffany, and we actually put an offer in within a day or so. There were no other offers, and we had a pretty straightforward escrow. My one takeaway from this experience is that it definitely pays to look at homes in really quiet times when nobody else is looking. In a way, going into escrow is just the start of the process of setting up a vacation rental. This is when the real work begins. The first thing I did was introduce Daniel and Tiffany to Lindsay of Specialised Permitting. She works with a lot of my clients to help them through the entire permit process. I remember introducing Daniel to Lindsay and explaining that it would cost $3,000 to take him through the process. Understandably, he thought it was a lot of money, but having been through the process, Daniel and Tiffany were really pleased that they did work with Lindsay. There were a couple of challenges that Daniel and Tiffany faced. The first one was due to the volume of people submitting applications for vacation rental permits. There was just a big backlog at the county, so it was taking longer to process permits. The other problem was a much bigger problem. There was rumour that there were going to be some changes in the vacation rental rules that were going to be introduced. Worse still, Lindsay and I became aware that the county was actually going to be putting a moratorium in place, preventing any future permits being issued until further notice. Because of these pending changes, Lindsay worked really closely with the county to make sure that Daniel and Tiffany's permit was processed as soon as possible. They eventually got their permit, but it wasn't until the day before the moratorium came into effect. So Daniel and Tiffany did an amazing job bringing the house to life, in line with their vision. The home is actually called The Black Sheep. I mean, it's truly amazing and very much a personal reflection of their characters. In talking with Tiffany, it sounds like at some point during the process, they actually started dumbing down their plans because they were thinking too much about what other people would think versus what they wanted to create. As soon as they re-embraced their vision, the whole place came to life. The Black Sheep went live on Airbnb on June the 15th. According to the booking calendar, the home is booked 75% from June the 15th through to December the 30th. Although that occupancy level will likely be higher by the end of the year due to new bookings taking place between now and then. And they're still increasing the price to really test where the price threshold is. And the good thing is they still haven't found it. One of the tools I subscribe to help clients and give them an indication of what income they can expect to get from a particular vacation rental is AirbDNA. According to Daniel, it will easily exceed the estimated income from AirbDNA that Daniel based his business model on, which is great news. As part of helping them set up the vacation rental, I also introduced Daniel and Tiffany to Nicole, a local property manager I work closely with. She doesn't charge anything like the percentage of income that many other managers do. Plus the fact she and her team of cleaners, they're just amazing to work with. I'm really pleased to hear that both Daniel and Tiffany are really valuing what she brings to the overall team. Apart from the nerve-wracking process of getting the permit, the only other challenge for them has been dealing with a slightly difficult neighbour. They quickly realised that a peaceful neighbourhood is key to the success of running a vacation rental. And Daniel is definitely the first to recognise that running a vacation rental is a hospitality business, not a property business, and that the first rule of success is learning to be a good host. It is and has been a pleasure working with Daniel and Tiffany to take them from the dream of investing some money after the death of his parents into something that is giving them and lots of other people a lot of joy. Once the moratorium has been lifted, there's definitely plenty of opportunities for other people to follow in Daniel and Tiffany's footsteps. When I last spoke to Daniel, he even said he would like to do it all over again with another place at some point. I definitely look forward to getting that call. If you are thinking about buying a vacation rental in Sonoma County, but aren't sure where to start, please do give me a call. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe to see other videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, go well.